Hello guys, welcome to the fourth session of Blazor tutorials for beginners. In the previous session, we have learned the difference between client-side and server-side hosting models. In this session, we will create a client-side Blazor app. Before this, we need to set up an environment for Blazor development by following steps. Firstly, install Visual Studio 2019. I will use the preview version of Community Edition. Install .NET Core 3 Preview SDK. At time of recording, .NET Core is under preview version 7. Maybe it will officially release when you are watching this video. After this, you need to install the Blazor extension from Visual Studio Marketplace and install Blazor templates for creating a project. This command line will add 3 different project templates for Blazor. Links to all of those tools and SDKs available in the resources. Let's create our first client-side app. From the startup page, click on Create a new project. Now select ASP.NET Core Web Application next. Give a name for the project and select the location where you want to save the project. Click on Create. From top, select .NET Core and ASP.NET Core 3. Now scroll down to the bottom. Here 3 different project templates exist for Blazor. Server app, it will create an app that follows server-side hosting. We will see it in the next session. Now ASP.NET hosted app, it will create a client-side with web APIs. And last is client-side app, it will create a standalone Blazor app which will run on WebAssembly. We will create a client-side app for now. Click on Create. Now let's run this app first and check out its output. Here is the default app created by project template. Let's open developer tools. Click on the counter. Now click me button will increase the value of counter. If you notice the URL bar, then it has been changed to counter. Now let's click on fetch data again. It will update URL and here it rendered table. Those data retrieved after sending a request to the static JSON file. Here is its request in network. It does not send any request for clicking on the counter tab or incrementing a counter. Now I'm going to refresh this page. And here are all requests made by this page. It will load Bootstrap, icons and fonts, blazor.webassembly.js, blazor.boot.json, mono.js, mono.vsum, and blazor client-side.dll are framework-related files. Those vsum and dll file contains binary data. Those other DLLs are dependency for our app. So now let's open our project in File Explorer. Open bin, debug, .NET Standard, distribution, framework. Here are all JavaScript files. Mono-related files are stored under vsum, and bin directory contains all DLL of dependencies. For the client-side environment, those all files will be downloaded on the browser. In Developer Tools, open Source tab and expand vsum from left side tree. Select any file. Here is the original code that is understandable by the browser. Now let's switch to the Visual Studio and understand the code. Now open program.cs file. Here it will create builder and specify the startup file. Now open startup.cs file. It contains 2 methods, configure services and configure. Concept for those 2 files is similar. to normal ASP.NET Core project. Using configure service method, we can add dependency injection. We will see it in more details later in the service. And configure method, we can configure pipelines for applications. Now open app.razor file. This file specifies assembly that contains routing details. It also specifies contents that will be rendered if specified URL does not exist as per the routing. Let's change the URL. Here we will get content written in not found content. Imports.razor file. It's similar to view imports.cs HTML in the MVC project. When Razor page opens, it will include all the directives specified in the imports file, so we do not need to rewrite those statements in each Razor pages. We can add namespace and master layout data here. Each directory can contain its own import file. Now shared directory, it contains main layout, navigation menu, and survey link for the index page. Pages directory contains all the components that are accessible to the router. It also contains own import file. Here we just specify layout. Content of outer import file execute first, then it will execute this and then execute component. Now let's open counter component. Here page directive specifies routing pattern for the component. It contains some C# and HTML code. We will learn this later. Now fetch data contains tabular structure to represent data loaded from JSON file. And index file just contains survey component. And the www root directory contains static resources. Index.html is a main file. It will be loaded when any request is made. It contains an app component, blazor.webassembly.js. In base tag, it specifies root for our site. Now, let us see what we have learned in this session. For setting up the environment for Blazor, we need to install Visual Studio 2019, .NET Core 3 SDK, Blazor extension, and templates. For creating a client-side app, we need to create a new project for ASP.NET Core Web Application and select Blazor Client-Side App. In the next session, we will create the server-side app and we will understand its structure. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any doubts, please feel free to contact me. Have a nice day.